In this video, I'm going to do a full tutorial on the new Canva AI text-to-image tool called Dream Lab. So what is this tool and where do we find it? How do we use it? Now I say the new tool, is this actually a new tool or is it just a rebranding of the existing Canva AI image generator? We'll talk about that. I'm going to give you some tips and resources so you can get the absolute best results out of this tool. So let's jump right in. Well, first let's discuss where do you find this new Dream Lab tool? Because at least as I record this, it might not be obvious for everyone. Now, for the past few weeks, Canva has been advertising Droptober, where they're going to release new features, and that is what is happening today. And so they have this link right up here, and I can click this. But if I click through and it says Droptober is here, I can scroll down this page, I can go through these different tabs, and I don't see anything about the Dream Lab under this section right here. I can also jump into a Canva design file, and if I go under the Elements tab, I see the normal AI image generator. So again, right here, I can click on this, but again, I'm not seeing anything mentioned about this Dream Lab. So this is where there still is some confusion. Is this ultimately going to be replaced right here with the Dream Lab? I don't know. Now, behind the scenes, there's been a lot going on. I know that Canva recently acquired the AI company, Leonardo. So if you follow this channel, you can stay up to date on updates like that. So you can go ahead and subscribe below if you want to stay up on all the latest Canva news. But at least for now, we're not entirely sure whether Dream Lab is going to replace this Magic Media tool, this AI image generator that currently exists here in the design file. But we have this new Dream Lab now, so how do we get to it? Well, as I mentioned before, from the home screen, it is not linked here, but I was able to find another Canva link that led to this announcement, canva.com, Droptober, and using that link, we get this page here, and if we scroll down on this page here, then suddenly, if we scroll down a little ways, we are going to see, okay, here is this Dream Lab, and it says, create stunning production quality visuals. Dream Lab brings your vision to life with unmatched precision, from photorealistic images to illustrations, sketches, 3D renders, and more. Explore Dream Lab. Okay, so we have this Dream Lab link here, and if we follow this, then suddenly canva.com/dream Lab. So this right here, this is what you want to enter into your browser URL window to navigate over to this new Dream Lab. And you'll notice here I have 494 credits. So again, 500 credits is what I seem to start with here. I don't know whether that's attached to my pro user. So I will open this up in actually my free account now just to double check this. And doing so here, I can see under this free account, it says I have 20 credits and then I can upgrade if I want more credits. So it seems like this is just like that AI image generator where if you're on that pro plan, you have 500 credits a month. If you're on the free plan, then you just get 20 credits. And then they want you to upgrade. So that is why you might want to consider Canva Pro. But let's jump back over to my Pro account here, and let's take a look at how this tool works. So it is very similar to Canva's other AI image generator, in that we have a place here to describe what we want. Down here in this drop down, we can choose a style. And then over here, we can choose sort of what dimensions do we want it to bring back the image. Do we want it to be a square? Do we want it to be 16 by 9? And so on. But there are some differences in there. These styles here are slightly different than we're going to see under this tool here. So under this tool, we can go under the styles and see we have all these styles. This list here is slightly different. So that is a difference. Now another difference, which is definitely an improvement, is right here. Suddenly we do have this 16 by 9 widescreen format as well as a couple other size formats that we don't have here under the old tool. So under this old AI image generator, and again, I'm calling this the old tool. I don't know yet whether they're actually just going to fully replace this, whether these are going to continue to exist as separate things inside of Canva. We don't know all this yet. But under this tool here, you just have square, you have landscape, and you do have portrait. Under the new Dream Lab tool, suddenly now we have this sort of 9 by 16, which would be good for a phone. And then we have 16 by 9 here, which is a good widescreen format if you're going to be viewing on a larger monitor. So again, I like those additions here. And another change I've noted, which I also think is an improvement, is you now have the ability to include more words here in your description, which is very helpful because the more descriptive you can be, often the more variable results you can get, often better results. So let me just show you what I mean. I'm just going to paste a prompt in here, which I'm generated. And so I have this description of this bumblebee, this early morning light. I'm not going to read all of it to you, but let me just show you if I go back to the other tool here and try to paste in that same prompt, you'll see that it gets cut off. So right here, when I'm typing golden sunrise, it gets cut off. If I come back here, you can see that I have well beyond that in this description here. So in the new Canva Dream Lab, this new AI text-to-image tool in Canva, suddenly you can include better descriptions. So this is an improvement. So I'm going to include this here, and I'm going to go ahead and come down under this. And when you use this and you choose smart, I assume that it's probably going to try to use your description and then based on your description, come up with what it thinks is the best style here. But I'm going to set this to none, and I'll explain in a minute why I like to keep this set to none. If you've watched any of my other tutorials on AI image generation and how to create better images, which I can link down below in the description of this video if you just open up the description, I'll include some links. But I've mentioned before why I like to set this to none, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So when I set it to none, I'm going to set it to 16:9, and then all you do is hit create here. It's going to take a minute. You're going to see it working, and it's going to generate 4 AI image results. So just like the AI image generator that we had before, this one here, it's going to bring back 4 results. So I can take look at the results here. If I like it, I can download it. I can use it in a design. But for now, let's just scroll through real quick and look at these different results and look at the different results. And so 4 different results, and all these are pretty cool, pretty good. So again, I could use any of these in a design. I can download any of these if I want to use it for other purposes. And if you're not sure about the usage rights, I believe that down here, if I scroll down the page, let me just grab this and scroll down at the bottom. Right here at the bottom, it says, create these images were created with AI, usage guidelines, and terms apply. So if you're unsure about how you can use these, just go ahead and click through on those terms, those guidelines, and make sure you read and understand how you can use these images. But so back up to the top here, 4 different results, and if we want to run it again, we could run it again here and create new results. And obviously we can come in here and change this description in any way we want. So I could change the prompt. I also obviously could come change the style here. Now I said I like to have it set to none, and the reason for that is that you could just come up here and tell it what you want. And doing that, you can actually access way more styles than you see right here. And I think it's just a better way to do things. But you can use these. So let me just show you. If I did take this photograph out of there, close up of a bumblebee, and then maybe come down here, and I'm going to set this style to creative or maybe to illustration just to see some different results. So again, you can reset this style, or you can change your descriptor up here. Go ahead and create, and then it's going to return 4 more results. Now, anytime you run this tool and you get these 4 results, you're going to use 1 credit. So each time you run this, you get 4 images, but that uses 1 credit. Now, if I come in here and see this illustration, I don't see a huge difference in here. So maybe I need to be more specific. And this is where I mean that I don't always like using this, because if I use something dramatic here, let me just choose the dramatic one here. So let me just come in here and choose pop art. If I do that, I suspect I will get a very different result. So let me just go ahead and do that pop art here and see what kind of results we get. So now when I'm using that pop art style down here, rerunning this again, still not getting different results. Now I think one of the reasons why this happens is because we have something in here and then we run the tool and it sort of gets locked into that current thing we're doing. Let's refresh this whole page. So let's refresh the whole thing. I'm actually trying to get rid of this up here now. So now if I just get rid of all that, I'm actually going to paste in the same prompt, take out this photograph part. I wonder now if just because I backed out of the tool, again, we'll go 16:9. I backed out of the tool. Now I'm going to come up with that pop art style. I've backed out. I don't think I have anything here describing it as a photograph. I do have some things in here and a lot of detail, so detailed light descriptors that maybe don't go with pop art as much, but we're going to try it anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and run that again and see what kind of results we get down here. And let's see what we get. And so again, still, it's getting stuck here. So that's one of the reasons why I don't love using these styles, because sometimes they work, sometimes they get results, but I think it's even better just to leave this set to none. So let me just set this to none. And here, let's just say a pop art style image of a bumblebee on a sunflower, golden early morning light. So just a simplified version. And I have found that sometimes it can get stuck sort of on your last description in terms of generating the image if you don't change it much. So sometimes I'd like to just reset it, put in a new description here. And also, if you're switching to a pop art style, maybe you don't need quite as many descriptors as we have here for a photograph. So again, pay attention to the style you're asking it for, and you'll notice here that again, I'm using the style here. I'm not using this drop down. Let's run this and see what result we get. So I'm going to go ahead and use create. And again, I'm describing the style up here rather than depending on this here. I just think this is a better way of doing things. I think it opens up way more styles and creative options you can come up with. And if you're interested, I actually have a visual style guide with over 100 of these different prompts, style prompts you can use. So if you're interested in getting that for free, all you have to do is go down to the description below this video, open it up. I'm going to have that link to my visual style guide. So look for the link to visual style guide. You can find it there, as well as some other helpful Canva related links. So here we can see this one for some reason did not vary from photograph, but these other ones here suddenly have more of this pop art style. And again, if you're looking for more visual styles you can try beyond just the ones you see in this drop down list, go check out that free style guide that I have linked in the description below this YouTube video, and you'll get lots and lots of options you can try. All right, so let me just run another example here. So I've pasted in a new prompt asking for an epic fantasy battle scene, and then lots of descriptors here. Again, more descriptors than I would be able to include if I was using this old version here under the projects tab. In the projects window, excuse me, under the elements tab, AI image generator. Right in here, if I try to paste in that whole prompt here, you can see that once again it gets cut off. So you can't include as much in here. Only about 260 characters, I think, in this window, where now suddenly we can include a lot more descriptors here if we want to try them in here. So let's go ahead and create this new scene. And again, it's building out 4 options for us to choose from. So you're always going to get 4 options, and those 4 options will equal 1 credit here. So this credit will adjust as we go. So let's take a quick look at some of these here. So pretty cool here. And again, if I want to see it, the larger version in a design, let me just click on one of these. Let's try this next one. So we'll try this one. We'll go ahead and use it in the design and open it up. And now we can see the larger version here actually inside a design. So pretty cool. And again, if we want to back out and go back to that image lab again, remember you're going to use that canva.com, and I said image lab, but really what we're talking about here is the Dream Lab. So Dream and then a dash lab. You can bookmark this. Again, hopefully Canva is just going to link it better somewhere from the home screen or within the project window. As of now, they haven't done that, so we'll see what happens with that. But you can always get to it at canva.com, Dream Lab. I'll paste in that same prompt, but let's update it a little bit now. Let's an epic fantasy battle scene as a woven tapestry. Okay, so I'm going in there now, and I'm specifically giving it something else. Of course, it would help if I spell this correctly, woven tapestry. Again, leaving out letters, woven tapestry. You'll notice it finds spelling mistakes like that in there, so that can help you as you type out here. And we'll go ahead and create this. And again, I want this to be 16 by 9. Let's go ahead and create that. I'm not worrying about the style here because I'm telling it I want this as a woven tapestry. Let's go ahead and create this. And so basically the exact same prompt as before, except I have given it a particular visual style. I'm telling it that I want this as a woven tapestry, and so now suddenly we're getting something that's different here. It's factoring that into the prompt, and it made some slight adjustments here. You can see this is supposed to be a tapestry here, but let's do something like totally different. Epic fantasy scene as cute 3D figures. Let's do something like that. Let's create this whole thing again. So again, you got to play around with these descriptors, these visual cues, visual styles you can give a tool like this, and then that can use to very drastically different results. Now suddenly here we have this cute little 3D figure look to this. So I was able to create something, that's very similar in terms of the overall what it is, but the style changes a lot when suddenly we have more of this 3D look with our little characters here. Suddenly we have something that's totally different. So you can start to figure out these cues, these visual terms, and you can figure out, again, what works for your brand, for the type of images you're trying to create. And by including these in a tool like this, you can get very different results, and sometimes results that are really going to work for you, compared to where if you just use this drop down here, you're going to have some options here, but you're not going to have nearly as many options. And then as you use this Dream Lab tool, your old creations are going to populate down the page, so you can scroll down through your past creations. And if ever you decide I want to get rid of some of these, they're sort of cluttering things up and I don't want to see them anymore, you can use these three dots up here, and actually these three dots right here, and you can delete this generation and get rid of all those images. So we do delete, we got rid of that row, so you can get rid of rows that way. And then also with any image, you can hover over it, you have a download button, you have that edit button that's going to let you jump right into a design. So very easy to get in there, make use of this tool. Now if I back out to that page where we were just before and hover over an image again, besides to download and the edit, I can also use these three dots here. And on this I have options for creating a design. Again, it's just going to open a design with that, pretty much the same as using edit design here. Delete image if you just want to throw away this one image but not the whole row here. So let's just say down here I really wanted that woven tapestry. That one gives me this look, but this does not. So maybe I want to come in here and delete this image and go ahead and click delete. You're going to notice that row shrinks down from 4 to 3, but I've still maintained this. Again, if you want to get rid of the whole row, then you come up where you have this prompt here, and then you could use this and delete that whole row. Now again, come under those three dots. I'm just going to go ahead and edit this image. I want to show you a couple more things. So I'm going to open this. And so now I have this open, and I went ahead and also opened this other one here of this tapestry. And I just wanted to give you a couple final tips just to really lock in how you can use this new Dream Lab and how you can really take advantage of this. So this is sort of an advanced tip, but this advanced tip is to don't forget about the other sort of Magic Studio tools you have inside of Canva as a pro Canva user. So in other words, this one here, if I were to size it down just for a second, let me grab this background here. I'm going to change this to black, and I'm changing it to black or close to black just so we can see that there still is all this white here under this tapestry, but maybe I want to use it as a design, and maybe that design does not have a white background, so I want to get rid of that. So I could just use the background remover, and then suddenly it's going to go in there and it's going to find this edge and it's going to get rid of it. So now I have a design that I could more easily use on this black background. So that's something else to keep in mind, is just your end use when you're even typing your image prompts, because if you know you want to create just a particular element that you're going to cut out from the background, a character, maybe you want to make sure somewhere in that description you're typing something about a minimal background or high contrast between subject and background, just to make it easier for that background remover to go in and do its job. Now one more advanced tip here, let's look at this image here. So I have these two knights in front. Maybe I want to put something within the scene to give it a little bit more depth, or maybe I have some text I want to appear behind some of the scene but not all the scene. This is again where you can use the different Magic Studio tools to your advantage. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to click on this. I will just come under the edit window here, and then that's bringing up these tools here. So I'm going to use this Magic Grab tool. Now, if you remember the Magic Grab tool, I have a tutorial which I can link on this channel somewhere down in the description. But with the Magic Grab tool, it's going to come in here and it attempts to find these subjects. Now, sometimes it'll find subjects and they'll sort of show up in blue here and you can click on them. But if it doesn't, you can also brush on the area that you wanted to attempt to grab and select and remove from the background. So I want to remove this knight and this knight just so I can have some text that looks like it's behind these knights but still in front of the dragon and the background of the scene here. So what I would do is I would grab this brush, let me pull a size, put it down to a size that feels appropriate, and then the key with this tool is when you're grabbing an object that you want to cut out, you want to sort of brush right on the area that represents where that subject meets the rest of the photograph, and that area where there's contrast. So I'm going right over here, the edges of my subject. I'm going to grab the sword. I don't care about getting the whole knight, but I'll go ahead and attempt to select the whole knight there. And so I'll do it for this one here. And then you can add to this. I can go and do somewhere else on my scene. I could do this separately or I could do it all at once, but I'll just attempt to grab the sword here. I'll attempt to grab this other knight right here. Again, I'm just trying to paint just beyond the edge of the subject itself that I want to cut out. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then once you've done the whole area that you want, you can go ahead and click grab. And now is where it goes to work. It attempts to lift that subject off the background, and then it's going to fill in those background pixels. So now I can drag these knights. You can see that they have actually been separated from the background. So if I wanted to slowly shift around where they are in the scene, again, another cool use of it. If I wanted to add in some text, so let's say I'm using this text here. Let me just shrink it down. Let's ungroup. Let's get rid of this bottom portion. Let's just get rid of some of this text just to show you a simple example here. And it doesn't really matter what the text says for this example, but let's just say this was my text here, and I'm going to drag it down. But then if I wanted to position it behind my subjects, I could now slide it behind these two subjects in the front because I've moved that text to the layer. If I look at my positioning here, so if I look at the positioning here, what I did is I used that control bracket keyboard shortcut just to slide it down behind these subjects. So suddenly now, not only can you use this Dream Lab to create images, but if you combine that with the other tools you have in Canva and you use it in a smart way, then suddenly you have lots and lots of creative possibilities. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in helping you learn about the new Canva AI Dream Lab, how to get to it, and how to make use of it. Now, of course, as I mentioned in this video, it's possible it still changes as to where it's going to be located under the Canva user interface. So anytime there is an update like that, I will put a link down in the comments below with any sort of updates that come along. I also mentioned that visual style guide, and if you want to grab that, you can go into the description below this video, look for that link to that visual style guide, and hopefully that is helpful for you. Now, when you get that, that's also signing up for my free email newsletter, and I'll have a free email newsletter link somewhere else in the description for anyone who wants to get these sort of updates on all new Canva features. With the Droptober today, there's some other features I'll be covering on this channel, so signing up for my newsletter below, that's a great way to make sure you stay on top of all these updates. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.